Hi everyone, my name is Karen, this is my channel RatherBeReading, and today I'm bringing to you my April mid-month wrap-up. So this should actually be going up in a fairly reasonable time frame, so that is really awesome. I managed to complete 6 books in the first half of the month of April, which is really awesome. So let's just jump straight in and I'll talk about the 6 books that I managed to complete. So the first book I completed in the month of April was The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. This is a historical fiction book set in World War II, which follows 2 sisters during the war, and it is set in France. I really enjoyed this book. I thought it did a really great job of depicting a lot of things. It did really well with showing kind of women and how women coped during the war and what effect women could have on the war. It also did a really good job, I thought, of showing kind of the enemy, like Nazi Germans, and showing that not all of them were evil human beings, that some of them were just normal people fighting for their country and fighting to better their country, and that didn't necessarily mean that they believed the same things as Hitler or that they were all just evil people. I thought the author did a really great job with that. The character development in this book was really great. I really enjoyed it. I gave the book 5 stars. It's probably my favorite book that I have read so far in 2016. I just really enjoyed it, and I definitely recommend checking it out, especially if you do like historical fiction or fiction set around World War II. I do recommend it. The next book I completed was Until Now by Rebecca Phillips. This is the 3rd book in the, I believe it's called the Just You trilogy by Rebecca Phillips. This book is actually a little bit different from the first 2. So the first 2 followed the same 2 characters and were YA stories. This last book in the trilogy actually follows a different character, one of the main characters from the first 2 books' best friend, and it is actually a new adult story. I actually really enjoyed that. I was worried when I saw that this was a trilogy after the first book. I didn't really know how it was going to stretch out into 3 books, and I was really glad when I saw that we're actually following a different character in this one and that it wasn't stretching out that story. This follows the character of Robin, and I really enjoy her as a character, so I liked getting to see more from her, and it was kind of cool to see it progress into a more new adult area, because the characters were getting older, so I thought that was really good. And I liked that we still got to see the couple from kind of the first 2 books and see them and their lives and what was happening with them, but the story did focus on Robin. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the romance. I actually enjoyed this last installment more than I enjoyed the second book in the trilogy, and I ended up giving it 4 stars. The next book I completed in April was Horace Tour by Grady Hendrix. This is actually the only book that I managed to complete for #TBR Takedown 3.5. I basically completely failed at that readathon. I read this in 100 pages, not even, I think, of my next book. But anyway, this book, it's a horror story set in an IKEA-like store, and it is, I guess, haunted, and they're trying to figure out what's going on. I have some mixed feelings about this. I really didn't know whether I enjoyed it or whether I didn't enjoy it. I really liked the first part of it. I thought it was really relatable, these people working in retail. I think a lot of people can relate to what the characters were going through in working with retail. It had a real humorous outlook in the first part of the book, which I really enjoyed. So I kind of have some mixed feelings. I didn't not enjoy it, but I didn't totally love it. In the end, I ended up rating this 3 stars. Next, I completed Mr. Penumbras 24-Hour Bookstore by Robin Sloan. I really had no idea what this was about going into it. I picked this up to complete the challenge of reading a book about books. And when I was about to pick it up and I read the synopsis, I kind of went, oh, I don't know whether I'm going to enjoy this or not. But I did actually end up really liking it. I really liked the writing style. I did think the book got a little too techy in some parts, and that kind of could get it kind of got a bit bogged down in it at some parts, but I did really enjoy it. I also had some problems with a bit of the romance element in it. It wasn't my favorite thing, but I really liked that this was a book about books. I really liked the writing style and the character's voice. I did really enjoy it, and overall I ended up giving this one a 4 stars. Next, I listened to Born at Midnight by CC Hunter on audiobook. This is a series, I believe it's a 5-book series, and I really had no idea what it was about, but the entire series is available on audio from my library, so I decided to give it a go and check it out. And I actually ended up really enjoying this first book. It follows a main character, Kylie, who she is going through kind of some changes. She's a bit distant from her best friend, and she gets caught at a party where there are drugs at the party. She's not drinking or doing any drugs, but there are drugs there, and so her mother basically ends up shipping her off to a camp for troubled teens. Lo and behold, it turns out that this camp is actually a camp for supernatural beings. This book involves vampires, werewolves, fairies, witches, and shapeshifters, and I kind of liked there were lots of different aspects, and we kind of saw like lots of different creatures and kind of the different like politics between the different creatures and just different things like that. I found that really interesting. I did really enjoy the story. I did think the plot was a little slow to get going. There's not really too much plot in this one. It's more character driven. There's kind of a small underlying plot, but it really did take a while to get going. But I really did enjoy the story overall. There is a love triangle in this book, so be aware of that. And I'm definitely falling down a lot harder on one side of the love triangle than the other. I don't know if that'll change in later books, but at the moment I'm really, really rooting for Lucas, and if she ends up with Derek, I'll be annoyed. I do like Derek, I just want her to end up with Lucas though. Anyway, I did really, really enjoy the book, and in the end I ended up giving it a 4-star, and I really look forward to continuing with more books in the series. And the final book I completed in the first half of April was The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald. I did really enjoy this. I wasn't sure going in. It's a classic, you hear a lot about it. I wasn't sure where I would fall in the spectrum. I have seen the movie, so I knew what it was about. I actually really enjoyed the writing style. Overall, I just really kind of enjoyed the story and the way it was told, the way F. Scott Fitzgerald told the story. I just found that I'm really repeating myself, I'm sorry, but I did really enjoy it. I enjoyed just the storyline overall. I really like the messages kind of that F. Scott Fitzgerald has in the story. I really freaking hate Daisy. Hate Daisy. Anyway, overall I did really enjoy it, and I ended up giving it a 3.75 stars. So those are the 6 books that I managed to complete in the first half of April. If you've read any of these books and have any thoughts on them, I would love to chat to you guys in the comments down below, or any books that you've read so far in April that you've been really enjoying. Please like this video if you liked it. Please subscribe if you want to see more from my channel. That's all I've got for this video today. Bye guys!